We are back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. Our guest is Chad Givens. He's a veterinarian taking your calls. Ask the Vet, 737-7587. Jump in, join in the conversation. We got lines open. We got folks who waited through the break, Chad. Let's go to Bruce. Bruce, good morning.
Morning, Bruce.
Good morning.
Hey, how can we help you, Bruce?
I got a little Shih Tzu. I guess he's about 7, 8 weeks old.
Yeah.
Still teasing. When do I need to find out? I ain't never had a small dog. When do I need a worm him?
So usually, if you're going to get from a breeder or someone has whether you haven't or not, it just kind of happened. But most of the time, a lot of people will start deworming somewhere around 4, 6 weeks. You know, somewhere in there, some a little bit earlier, but they'll try to hit a little bit. You know, even with a nice in-kept dog that's getting bred, when they have their puppies, you can still get a lot of worms from the mom. So roundworms and hookworms are common.
Is that just standard? Does that just happen?
It can go through the milk. It can go through the placenta. So it's pretty common.
How are they exposed to the worms in the first place? Dirty water?
It just depends on where they are. If you are deworming, you know, a mother ahead of time, they won't. But it just environmental. If you got a dog that's going outside, they can get exposed to them.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of times some people will do it earlier, but then if you're getting 8 weeks, you really should be developing a vaccine protocol and deworming protocol now. So most of your veterinarians are going to do every 2 to 3 weeks. At this point, you know, check a stool sample, because you can have more than just hookworms and roundworms. You can get whipworms, coccidia. So there's several other parasites that can be in puppies. Their immune systems are weakened. They're predisposed to it. So, you know, definitely having a stool sample, checking it, then figuring out what type of dewormer is needed, or if not, sometimes we'll still give a few doses of dewormer anyway, because they might not be cycling the eggs at that time. They could be there. But then, you know, almost just as importantly, getting the vaccinations in, distemper, parvo, parainfluenza, you know, around this time, starting kennel cough, you know, at some point in the near future.
And
also,
the worms can be particularly harmful to puppies then? I mean, the mother could have them, and you want to deworm her as well, but I mean, adult dogs can handle them a little bit better. Can they be life-threatening to puppies? Is that why you handle it so early? I mean, so you can, you know, if they get a high load, especially roundworms. Roundworms are pretty long-looking worms that are spaghetti-like. That's great. That's just great thinking about. I love thinking about that.
Yeah, exactly. We refer everything to food. So, you know, so they're kind of long, and if they're in high numbers and they're in the GI tract, it could clog and actually act like obstruction in the intestinal tract. But I mean, primarily, it doesn't do that very often, but it's going to cause anemia. They're going to affect the nutritional status of the puppy, so they're not going to absorb as much. The worms are going to take some of the nutrition away from them. They're not going to be as healthy. You know, it depends on the word and how they affect or how they feed the GI tract. So, I mean, that's your main thing, is you just want this developing body to be able to absorb its nutrition and grow. And these worms, they definitely can cause significant anemias, and they can lead to death in the severe cases. But basically, just a deworm to provide the body to grow and allow it to absorb the nutrition.
About time for Bruce to go get it done then. You have the age of that dog.
Perfect timing for it.
Great example he just gave of why it's important to do. Let's get to Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. What can we do for you?
I have a dog that's over 10 years old, and I don't know if he's starting to have seizures or what the deal is, but I was wondering if you know of any low-income places you could take him, or somebody that might, you know, let me set up payment plan or something.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say over the air. I don't want to make anybody mad. There are definitely clinics around town that are a little lower cost and can help out a little bit there. I think the big thing is, you know, no matter what, just a physical exam is a great place to start. I mean, seizures in an older dog, if that's truly the case, may need a workup, because it could be endocrine related, the body's organ systems, something up neurologically, electrolyte imbalances, a little bit out of the epileptic range. But it could also be, depending on, you didn't say what type of dog, so, you know, small breed dog versus large breed dog. heart disease. You can have syncopal episodes where the body doesn't get enough oxygen and they faint. And sometimes it can look like seizures. So there are several things. I think the first place is start off with the physical exam, and physical exams you can call around and just figure out what's the most affordable or cost-effective for you in your area, and start there. And then it's not going to be uncommon for whatever veterinarian you're going to see to say, 10-year-old dog, here's what I see on physical exam. I probably need blood work to get a more detailed image of the whole body and the organ systems. But there are some lower cost clinics around. There
are some nonprofits, I think, sometimes that will assist. If you go to Google, if you have access to a computer, and check for nonprofit animal care or something like that in the Nashville area, some names may come up where they can assist you at a lower wage or lower rate, rather.
You can definitely find someone who will be able to fit your budget. And more importantly than anything is the physical exam.
Yeah, just to get the basic.
Allow one of the doctors to listen to the heart, evaluate just the neurologic component, and just palpate the abdomen, and just kind of get a feel for what's going on.
And it may be something that's not very exorbitant and expensive that could be cured in one way or the other, and of course could go the other way as well. But you got to find out what it is. So, but do that search and look for that. And I know that's sometimes an issue, but there are ways that you can work it out to make the payment plan. And I appreciate you, Amanda, trying to do it. I know everyone's on a budget, but your animal's part of the family, so I know you care. There's got to be a way to find to do that. So search if you can. Look for some of those nonprofits on Google, online, or something along that to give you some leads.
And there's something called Care Credit also that's like it's like a credit card you can set up for medical expenses, and it's a very low interest rate initially. So if you do it, it's almost like that's your payment plan. It pays up front, the clinic, and then you pay them monthly. If you go beyond a certain period of time, the interest rate jacks up pretty high. So you have to use it wisely. And some people don't, but some people do. And essentially, that's a payment plan for most clinics.
Now, this probably is not something for someone like her, but how often do you have clients that come in that actually have health insurance for their pets? Do you see that very often? Is it a much smaller percentage, I would imagine, but are there folks that have that?
Yeah, we're seeing it more and more. So, I mean, there are
policies
a lot more insurance providers out there now for animals, so we're seeing it more and more. It still hasn't been, like in California where it started, there's a lot more people that have pet insurance out there. It hasn't really picked up everywhere because realistically it's like any insurance. I mean, there's sometimes it doesn't cover what you need it for, and there's sometimes that it does. And I think on your yearly visits on a healthy animal, it's not really doing a whole bunch.
That's
so
right.
If you budget wisely and have like a little bit of a cushion for the emergency situation, that's usually every bit as good, if not better.
Gotcha. So. Good advice. Let's go to Leona. Hi, Leona.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Okay, I have 2 cats, and every so often they eat, I buy the dollar store brand food, and they'll eat it, they're okay, but sometimes it's just like they'll start vomiting, and I just don't understand why they're doing that or what's going on.
Huh. Is it dry food or wet food?
Yes.
Dry food, okay.
How old are your cats?
One of them is like, I'll say maybe 8 years old. I'm not really sure. I'm sorry.
And they both are vomiting, or does it look like just undigested food, or is it no food involved?
It's the color of the food.
Okay. Sometimes they even slightly shaped like it.
No, it's liquid, but it's like he won't do it, and sometimes he will.
It's like he's digesting part of it, and then it comes.
Yeah, I think that. Are you sticking with the same flavor, or are you switching flavors?
Same flavor.
Same flavor. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, sometimes in a 2-cat or a multi-cat household, you get competitive eating. One eats really fast, or both eat really fast. Sometimes they graze. So, a lot of times if cats eat really fast, they can regurgitate it, which is when you regurgitate something, you basically see the food come back up, and it looks almost exactly the same. In this case, you've got the color of the food tinted fluid, but you know, I don't know. So that could put you in between a regurgitation or a vomiting. If the whole cat's body is really involved and it's not just like a bleh, then you're talking about a vomiting versus a regurgitation. A regurgitation can be a lot more common with hairballs, stress, eating too fast and moving around and just coming back up. Vomiting, where it's an active process and you're getting the fluid and maybe even bile tinged up there, could be something a lot more than that. You know, if the cats seem healthy, they haven't lost any weight,
maybe
their
just try
stools are
food.
normal, you could definitely try different food. Maybe there's something that's not settling well. Now, if you're going a period of time, say like a month or longer, and there's no regurgitation or no vomiting, it's probably not the food. Food's probably okay. It could be some other stressor or some other event. So those regurgitation, vomiting in cats can be tricky. We do see a lot of inflammatory bowel disease in cats, a lot of food sensitivities. I feel like we see a lot more food allergies now than what we used to. And then, of course, you know, cats can eat things. Hair bands, some of those can be eaten, and they can stay in the stomach for a while, which can cause intermittent vomiting without obstruction.
So the thing is, you can go through these scenarios. And again, the bottom line, and Allison always says this as well, is if it persists, you got to take the cats to the vet and have them check it out. But I would think if they're being healthy, like you said, try a little different food. Don't just keep giving them the same stuff. See if something else they like and they don't throw it up. It's a pretty basic idea there. And then if that doesn't work, you may have to just go have them checked out. Listen, let's take a break on that note. When we come back, Betsy, Laura, and others, stay where you are. We'll get to your phone calls. We got some lines open if you want to jump in. Some good questions this morning on basic stuff. And it really just comes up when you have a pet. 737-7587. Back with more right after this.